Yo, what up, though? It's MIG. Welcome back to Sesh Podcast. Today in the building we got Trip Theory.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah. So today we're gonna get trippy, as the your name says. You got me?
I feel you.
Trip Theory. We're going to go into the trips of mushrooms, basically. I don't really know the terminology for like mushrooms. There's a word, right?
Psychedelics.
Psychedelics.
You can call them
What are they? Fungus, right? Like some there's a specific word. I don't even know too much. But
yeah.
Today's episode is gonna be sponsored by Sesh Bro Trip gummies, vegan, of course. We got cherry lime, passion fruit, mango. There's a little bit of other ones. Let's see. What was the blue one? Hawaiian punch, and it came with Hawaiian magic. That's the strain. So it has different strains on it too. So yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway with that. So y'all check in when this video goes up. Be the first one to comment. You get me? So keep your notifications on. Make sure you like every video that we upload. Y'all already know. And then today's episode is also sponsored by Lipsticks. Y'all already know. Today we got it was Nightmare OG, and what's that one, man?
That's Black Biscotti.
It's Black Biscotti. Want a preference? Your choose, man.
Which one was this one? Lipsticks.
That one's Nightmare OG. I had Nightmare OG last time, so it's really bomb.
Oh, so let's try this one if you haven't tried this one.
Let's go. Well, we're gonna take them to the head.
Oh.
Yeah. So you got one, I got one.
Right.
Yeah. If you're down for that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Cool. Lipsticks, you already know. Find a Sesh up. Members only. Find out how to get a membership. DM. Instagram. They always hit so smooth. Like the first hit.
Oh yeah.
That airflow is really, really good. Like, shout out to the roller. So today's, man, how you feeling?
I'm great, man.
Do you microdose yourself?
Yeah, I actually just recently started microdosing.
How's that experience been?
So, in the beginning, when I first started taking mushrooms, I microdosed for about a month, 2 months.
Okay.
To see what the effects were. And I did it with my girlfriend at the time, and she was on a lot of medications. You know, she was going through a lot of depression, anxiety. And we did it together for 2 months, and, she completely, flipped 360 or 180, I should say. She stopped taking all the prescriptions. She became a much more humble person. And then from then on, I just did macro doses, so I was big into big doses.
So how big is big?
For me, I do 7 grams.
Jeez.
I do 7 to 9 grams.
Damn.
Yeah, I go deep. I do it for a lot of the learning experience. I don't do it just to trip out.
Okay, so it comes with some you take notes and shit like that, like how you feeling or what?
So I do it with some intentions prior to taking it, whether that be for me learning something about myself or pushing my expectations or my limits.
I see that.
And then having no expectations when I go into it, right? So if I have those intentions before I do it, I don't expect the same intention that I put to come out from the experience. Even though it can definitely happen, or it can happen afterward, after the trip, right? Because then, you also have that lingering stimulation from the mushrooms afterwards.
Right, like it stays for you kind of forever, in a way?
In a sense, yeah. And so for me, I really get something out of it, right? I don't just do it just to see what's up with the visuals and just trip out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some more educational purposes.
Right. And then now is the microdosing. I've been reading or hearing a lot of the medicinal, therapeutic, healing effects that it can have on people, and you don't necessarily need to go through that whole 5-hour trip, throughout your day, because people got things to do, so you don't want to spend the whole time just
not trusting
out.
yourself.
Yeah, because it can be taxing if you got other shit to do.
Word.
So with the microdosing, it's really cool because you can get that little bit of the magic, and it stimulates the mind where you have awareness or presence to the moment.
So you're still here. Like,
So you're still in
yeah.
it, and you can kind of like reflect on that feeling versus the day-to-day mundane shit that you do 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Without thinking, you're just automatic. Do gotta do this, do that. But it kind of like slows you down because you're feeling something different, and your neurons are also firing a lot faster and rewiring themselves. So
see.
you can gain some experience or some knowledge. But yeah, an
Just
experience
for fucking
just through the microdosing.
literally, because it's just a small amount of something like that's like mind changing in a way.
Oh yeah.
Do you know the history behind shrooms, like the
Yeah.
dates and shit like that, or like
I don't know specific dates, but I know some information. For
Yeah.
example,
Can you
like
tell us?
yeah, like mushrooms didn't really become popular until the 70s, where
Yeah.
they went to Mexico with this indigenous woman,
Okay.
and she called them Niños Santos,
Niños Santos.
right? And she would have a very ceremonial like setting, and you would have to kind of meet her not her demands, but she would have to kind of size you up, make
Okay.
sure that you're ready
cool,
to undergo this, because for the most part a lot of the indigenous people there didn't like outsiders knowing about their ceremonial
Right?
mushrooms.
Sacred in a way. Like,
Yeah, so she got a lot of backlash for bringing outsiders in it, but in her, mind, it's like, this is a healing entity that everybody should know about.
good experience. So,
Right, and
yeah.
then before her, obviously there's a lot of also history with, the Aztecs taking mushrooms, and even psychedelics being found with the Egyptians.
Right.
Small amounts of psilocybin, along with like blue lotus and a lot of other just natural substances found to that alter the mind and the body and the spiritual realm. So it dates back before this whole industrial lifestyle
world, right? Like, yeah,
like
I get
people have
that.
been using it to learn from it, to learn the knowledge of the land, of the earth, of the cosmos, because it takes you to places that normal people would say that it's like, oh, that's a bunch of voodoo, it's not real. But I mean, if you're the person experiencing it and it's taking you there and you're feeling everything,
Literally.
it's like something is real from that experience.
Right. Like it's in this mind. We can't put it out in the world yet.
Yeah, like
Other
who
than
knows?
words,
I
like-
mean, it probably is out in the world, but we're just blinded, or we're just
That is
like,
true.
We're just so, kind of dumbed down not to see those frequencies, you can call them, or energetic vibrations that we project. Because when you're feeling
Literally,
that,
bro.
when you're in the mushrooms, you're projecting some energy wave. Because I mean, anybody who does a lot of mushrooms will tell you, like, you can affect the people around you, or the people around you affect you.
Definitely.
Because you have a heightened sense of something, right? And that something
that.
is labeled as whatever you want. You can call it the frequency, the energy, the consciousness,
vibe,
or whatever you want to call it. It
Yeah.
has many different names, but there's definitely something. You're entangled with some sort of connection that we all have already present. Psychedelics or mushrooms just give you the opportunity, or a tool to see that aspect of life.
I could emphasize, like,
Absolutely,
literally.
and that's what people use it for, to see that realm of life, to enhance that state of being, because there is something else out there, man. There's
Literally,
fucking
bro.
something else.
We
out
got
there.
that. And then, I fuck with you, bro. We've chalked it up before, but this is our first time, like, actually, like, get into it. So I'm intrigued by everything, bro. But I dug your whatever that word from
Yeah,
the
the
beginning, bro.
frequency,
I already
the
do.
energy, yeah, whatever
Literally.
you want to call it, man.
So with the different types of shrooms, like, how many is there? I know there's a lot, but like
There's so many species of mushrooms. Generally, what people consume in day to day now are cubensis,
Cool.
psilocybe cubensis mushrooms, and those are the ones that you can grow indoors.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's a lot of new hybrids that are coming out, and in my personal experience, I wouldn't like jump on the train just too quick, just because it takes a while to stabilize new hybrids.
I get that.
So right now, so what I cultivate is something called Penis Envy.
Peter Sevi.
Right, and there's a lot of mysticism behind it, because for the most part, nobody really claimed they were the creator or the, you know, the
Initiator,
cultivator,
like,
yeah,
okay.
of the penis envy. So
It kind of just appeared there, or what? Like.
yeah, it appeared in the. So the story goes in the 70s, or you know, when
Yeah.
the Terrence McKenna age.
A little Eric, yep.
Um,
Hippies.
yeah, the hippie stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he brought back some Amazonian mushrooms from the Amazon,
Crazy.
and this scientist at the time was intrigued with working with the mushrooms, but out of the three they cultivated, or out of the bunch they cultivated, he
Yeah.
saw one that was kind of not making it. The one that was kind of just the ugliest one, you know, the ugly
that
duckling of the
liquid, right?
bunch.
Yeah.
So he kind of reversed the growing process and worked with the crappiest one to make it a good one.
Okay.
I mean, the story is a lot more
Like deep for this.
detailed or whatever. Yeah, I'm not going into it too much. But the guy, they just worked on it for like 20 years, and they would clone it for its bluing. And bluing is a good indicator that it's a psychoactive mushroom. For the most part. Yeah, if you go out into the wild and you squish a mushroom, and if it blues, that means there's psilocybin present. So that's how you can search for mushrooms out in the wild.
Would you recommend that?
You can, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only
So
like
they'll grow naturally in the earth, like
Right,
somewhere,
I mean,
like
but it's-
untouched, right? Like or like.
yeah, the climate has to be right. You know, it's a humid
Yeah.
area. Generally, like where cattle, because that's really popular where cattle
Manure.
are. Yeah, manure, because that's, you know, a good substrate for the mushrooms to grow. Hay and like tall grass or straw grass, you'll find some mushrooms there.
That's cool.
So yeah, the bluing, you know, a lot of people get tripped out when they see bluing on like dried mushrooms. They're like, oh, it's contaminated. You know, what's that contamination?
That's the good
What
shit.
happened was, yeah, it just got a little, it was just overly handled. You know, the mushrooms are really delicate when you harvest them. So if you squeeze them too much, you'll blue them. And when you dry them, that bluing is going to stay. So it has this bluing on the mushrooms, you know. And some people, when it's like over wet mushrooms, they're
Yeah.
even more delicate. So you touch them and they blue really fast.
Damn. So does that determine the thickness of it? If it's like,
You know, there's a lot of like,
there's
there's not
squeezing it out, or
right.
like-
Yeah, there's a lot of still unknown science behind it, just because it's kind of like prohibited, right?
Yeah.
To research mushrooms, they're illegal.
Yeah,
So there's no real funded research going on to, you know, have that consistent data that can
Like
show that.
sciences,
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, we can say that yes, the more bluing is better, but there's really no
Damn,
science
see.
behind it, right?
That's like word of the street type
Right,
shit.
word on
like,
the street.
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Oh, if it blues, that means it's the good shit. But
Yeah.
you know, that's not really the case, or we don't know if it's the case. But yeah, I mean, blue is a good indicator that there's psychedelic substances present in the mushroom.
I feel that.
So yeah, that's how the, you know, penis envy is renowned to have the most
That'd be-
potent psilocybin and psilocin content. And you know, there's still again a lot of hearsay and hearsay about what is potent and what is not potent.
Right.
You know, I know there's a lot of like mushroom cups or whatever going on, but there's no way that stuff is reliable. I mean, there could, just because, again, when you hybrid something to stabilize it, it takes a while, man.
All right. And so, if it's harvested wrong, or they try to like mix the strains, what, like, you know, would the bad side effects come out more because it's not stable?
So,
Like,
so I mean, yeah, I mean, well, there's really,
Like-
it's just not stable, so it's not reliable. So it could be one day that, oh, this one grew really potent, and for the most part, that's what happened, like on the mushroom cups or whatever.
Yeah.
That one became really potent, and there was a big hype over this one called Enigma, right?
Okay. So that.
And it was like supposedly 3 times stronger, even stronger than the penis envy strain, right? And then when everybody started growing it, it was like, yo, this fucking mushroom is just like any other cubensis, you know? I mean, it's a little bit strong, but it's not what everybody claimed on the cup.
like super trippy.
Super
shit.
trippy, and it's just
okay.
because there's no reliability on that, you know, for the,
we
and
gotta
so
do
we,
the data ourselves.
and to go back to it, that Enigma strain was a hybrid between the penis envy and another strain. So all these hybrids are usually a hybrid between the penis envy because of the potency that it holds.
So they kind of want to recreate that, but in a different way.
In a different way. Now, the reason that everybody just doesn't have penis envy on hand, if it's the most potent, is because it's the most difficult to cultivate, in the sense that to get full canopies, people haven't found the trick to get wall-to-wall canopies that people like seek in regular mushrooms or golden teachers or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why not everybody has it. I mean, it took me like 2.5 years just to get it to the stage now, and I'm still changing variables all the time to get it even better, you know?
That's good.
So a canopy is just like you would imagine when it's, you know, so in cannabis terms, you want a canopy to grow as big as you can in the space provided, right? So square feet. So if it's a 4x4, you want that canopy to fill that 4x4 space. And if you have a 4x4 space and your canopy is only 2 feet, then you're wasting 2 feet extra. So you see what I'm saying? So a canopy is just essentially the amount that's growing in the space. So, you know, for the most part, people struggle to get a full stretch of mushrooms growing in that one cake or that one substrate. Yeah. So they opt to hybrid in the penis envy strain to gain that full set of mushrooms and still retain some of the potency that penis envy has. Shit. You know, people who try to grow penis envy will come across something called blobs or mutants, or they won't even get any mushrooms growing at all. And these blobs or mutants are essentially like these little pebbles that grow. They never grow to mushrooms, and sometimes they can grow to like these boulders.
I see that.
And they're not aesthetically pleasing, but they're fucking potent as fuck, right? But nobody wants to see that. They want to see a mushroom. So,
like actual, like...
Yeah, actual mushrooms. What is this ball? Like, I don't want that, you know? So,
I'm interested. I want to try the ball.
Yeah, the blobs, you know, people on the forums will tell you those are more potent than the counterpart full mushroom for whatever reason. And, you know, in my opinion, I think it's because since it doesn't release the spores or it never creates a system to release spores, it conserves that energy, and that energy translates to more pumping into the other stuff, which can be creating more psychedelic substances or compounds inside the mushroom. Right, yeah, so it's like it's just concentrated to doing that.
I was gonna say, basically, like, so it's 100 proof, basically.
Right, yeah. So, but who knows? Again, this is all just speculation. There's no real science behind this. You know, it's just my experiences. And, you know, I would consider myself a connoisseur in mushroom consumption.
Oh yeah, no, you're a guru with it, bro.
Yeah, so like I could tell you that, yeah, man, those blobs do hit a little bit stronger. Like I use those blobs when back in the day I would use that to make my chocolates and my capsules, and people would be like, "What the fuck was that?"
Trippy shit. Like.
So it worked out, right? But you know, people who are in the market, you know, trying to sell mushrooms or whatever, they're not gonna want to try to sell a bunch of blobs. You know? Nobody's gonna want that. So that's why people opt to cross it with an easier strain to grow, so they can get some of the penis envy potency. And you know, people are gonna claim, "Oh, this shit is potent as fuck. It's even more potent than penis envy." And you know what? Maybe they just haven't had the real penis envy before, because it's so hard to come by. And you know, there's a lot of misrepresentation. There's also a lot of hybrids that are called penis envy 6, penis envy 7, right? And so people will pass it off. Oh, that's penis envy, but they didn't say it was penis envy 6, penis envy 7, right? So they did maybe get a little bit more potency than the regular going teachers or whatever, and then they're like, yeah, that was cool. It wasn't the bad. It wasn't all crazy. So you know, there is a lot of misrepresentation, and it's not nobody's fault. Yeah, you know, it's just, you know, people gotta hustle. You know, you hear penis envy, oh, I want that one.
That name sells.
Yeah, the name sells. Right, so exactly. So, you know, it's just what it is, you know. But if you're lucky enough to try it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Shit. Yeah, there's different tiers to the experience for sure. And that's when people are like, okay, I got that spiritual thing that everyone was talking about. All the walls were melting, you know, whatever.
I love that.
Yeah, and that's what
have you had any bad trips, speaking of walls melting and shit, like bad side effects, or have you seen anybody come with like a bad side effect or like a nightmare, like they don't want to ever fuck with shoes again, you know, like?
So me personally, I have never had a bad trip, only because bad
You're
trips.
open-minded.
Right, yeah. So, I mean,
right?
I'll explain first of all what a bad trip is for the
Yeah,
most part.
please.
A bad trip will come with unwanted thoughts and feelings. That's all a bad trip is. Also, some people get nauseous or whatever and throw up.
Yeah,
But that's more
what any
because,
drug.
again, there could be a couple of reasons why. Your diet, and you're just not accepting the trip. You're not accepting the experience. So that can cause an uncomfortable feeling that can translate to nausea, and then and then it just goes down a hill, right?
I get that.
So it just is all about embracing the experience, and that can help with, the bad trips.
Yeah.
And bad trips are also associated with you just not slowing down and not allowing your mind to race on its own. This is the biggest issue I see with people taking mushrooms is, you go through the trip and sometimes you just can't stop. You just can't be.
You want to be in control.
You want
right?
to be in
Like,
control,
yeah,
and that's
take
just
the
your
driver's
ego.
seat, but
That's just your ego,
literally,
man.
I say it's that guilt. You said the unwanted thoughts. Like
Yeah.
it literally opens up like that guilt that you've been holding on to. So
Absolutely,
it's like you don't know how to deal with that shit.
Exactly
Like, so-
what it is. That's what the bad trip is. Because that's what mushrooms would do. That's the learning process. This
Literally.
is a tool that shows you something that you need to work on. Sometimes it can be a great ass fucking times, and it's all it is. And you'll still
Yeah.
get something out of it afterward. But for the most part, what mushrooms will do is give you something that you need to work on yourself.
Like the fucking truth.
The
Literally.
truth
Like,
is what it
literally.
is.
Like,
Exactly.
It's hard to handle. So.
And nobody wants to hear shit that they gotta fix themselves on.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear, hey, you gotta fix your diet, bro. Hey, you gotta start working out, bro.
Literally, man.
Nobody wants, hey, you gotta start meditating, bro. Hey, you gotta start working on your
like,
breath, bro. Hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do that.
like-
Nobody wants to hear some shit that they don't want to do, especially if you're comfortable as fuck. Just chill it, right?
You do you. See,
Yeah, you do you.
I got a little uncomfortable and shit, so I'm like, damn. But thinking back, like, to meditating days, I'm like, fool. Like, I used to be on my tea every day type shit, and, like, you get me? It comes with, like, the lifestyle. But
Right.
the fucking microdosing is, like, I see my homie go from weed to, like, try to go to alcohol, back to weed again, back to wax, and try to abuse it, you get me? Once he found microdosing, I think it changed his life in a good way, because he was just more, like, happy.
Right.
Before, it was more like he was chasing that high. Like, and so
Exactly.
I gave it, like, faith, because this is one of the persons that I, like, fucking trusted, get me? So that fool was putting in his coffee in the morning type shit. So more vegan, like, because, he wanted to be healthy.
Yeah, that's what it does to
Yup.
you, man. Like, it makes you see the shit that can benefit you, right? And
Literally.
sometimes it's not what you want to see, because you want to just be doing the same shit.
Right?
But see, that's just what a bad trip is, man. It's just the conscious. You're not in control. You don't allow yourself to let go.
You said the ego.
Yeah,
That's a
It's
fucking
just
big
the
thing,
ego,
yeah.
man. It's just your ego trying to control what you want to feel, what you want to think. But if you just let go and you embrace whatever it is that you're feeling,
Yeah.
and the more you can feel it, and the less you can think of what it is that you're feeling, the more the magic comes, the more the visuals come your way. Because a lot of people, I mean, I have a handful of people who told me I didn't get any visuals.
Yep.
And
you hear
I'm
that all the
like,
time.
what? What do you mean you didn't get any visuals? And they said, I took that 7 grams. I was like,
Like, how the fuck did you not? Like,
but
see?
in that case scenario, it's just those people just are really in control of the experience, and they have high expectations to what the experience should be like. Right?
I blame the media and, like, like little fucking videos and shit, like, of people, like, wanting to tell you how it fucking is. But, like,
Right.
it's like you have to experience it yourself. I don't think you could describe it to somebody else that's never done it.
Yeah, not only that, but
People confuse mushroom high with other things like LSD.
Right.
and
Yep.
They confuse
Like the
them.
acid.
yeah. So a good
That's a debate.
yeah, there's a debate, and how I like to separate the two is like, more, LSD is more like the Star Wars realm, and mushrooms is more like the Lord of the Rings realm. It's more earthy, and you're like here with
wow.
the magical mysticism, everything. And Star Wars is like the futuristic stuff. And like
Yeah.
more,
Moving fast.
yeah, and everything is like just it's more symmetric, and not symmetrical in a sense, but more just angled. Or,
I get you.
Right angles or whatever. But yeah, that's the difference in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's the two, and some people like microdosing LSD from what I hear.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's too much for me. I compare, like, mushrooms to like weed. You get me? They're more like downers in a way. That's how I describe it. But I fucking take shrooms. I could smoke blunts all day, joints all day. You get me?
Right.
Like it goes back to back, and it won't change my fucking thing. It'll actually like make the smoke like fucking cooler in a way. I don't know.
No, yeah, it
Yeah,
does,
like-
because it does enhance, that visual cortex. You know,
Yeah.
we feel a little bit more enhanced in every aspect, visually, hearing, smelling.
Speaking of enhanced, like when it comes to like sexual experiences and shit, how do you how do you describe that? You get me?
All right,
for people
so
that haven't experienced that
yes.
shit, because
So
it's top tier out here.
It's
right?
amazing.
I haven't done it myself
It's
personally.
amazing, and it's so amazing because what happens is if you're able to let go and just be in that moment, which most of the time you are,
So yeah,
you become yourself in the sense you become the experience that you're experiencing. Like you feel every connection of the chakras, you can say,
Literally.
because
Okay.
you become one entity, and it becomes like very euphoric. It becomes outer worldly because you're not essentially becoming that animalistic kind of
just instinct,
love
like,
making,
yeah.
you can say.
Yeah.
It can be for sure, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but what
yeah.
happens is you just feel more in tune with your body.
Like you kind of want to cry type shit, like
Yo,
it hits
man,
you,
it's like
yeah,
you-
those feelings are
Oh,
fine,
absolutely, man, and it is, and it's very it can be very spiritual, right? In the sense that you can connect with each other, not just physically, but consciously, because you do get to a sense of you understand each other, especially if
Yeah.
you're both, with mushrooms or whatever.
Yeah,
it
like
is.
that, yeah.
You just
Literally.
enhance each other so much, and you can almost read each other telepathically, in a sense, because you just know what you like, and everything feels good. And if it
Literally.
feels good to you, you're enhancing the feeling to the other, and vice versa, and then it just becomes like a wheel of enhancing frequency or energy.
To me, it's
again.
like a lava lamp. Like you get me? The liquid's like
Yeah,
it's
man,
in there,
it's
like,
wild for
yeah.
sure, man. It definitely opens you up to understanding your body and each other's body for sure.
What do you recommend the average person that hasn't done it? Like, how much should they intake, like for their first time?
So it just all depends on what your intentions are, right? Because
Okay.
there is no one set formula that can say this is the one that fixes
Right.
it for everybody.
Okay.
Because everybody's different, everybody's going through different things, and everybody wants a different outcome from the experience.
Yeah.
And then also people have different tolerances, and so it just depends. If you just want to have like a good time, some visuals, and not be overwhelmed too much with the experience. I also gotta say, it just depends what mushrooms you're taking as well.
Okay, yeah.
Because
that
not
varies, too.
all mushrooms are the same. Some people will have regular mushrooms, and golden teachers or whatever, have
Yeah.
a handful, and I'll be like, I just barely felt anything, and
I've
it might have
had
been
that,
like 2-3
literally.
grams, right? On the other hand, if you do 2-3 grams of penis envy, be prepared for a wild ride. You're gonna see definitely at 3 or more grams, you're definitely in it with the visuals.
You're up.
It's the way I like to dose people or tell them about the penis envy strain is at 1 gram, you can say that's where the visuals will start. That's
Okay.
where you can start seeing a little bit more vibrant colors in the
Yeah.
lights, maybe a little trail coming out of the lights when you move your head a little bit fast. 2 grams, the visuals are very much present. You're definitely seeing something. And then 3 grams or over, that's like a whole day kind of deal, right? You're in it for a long time. 3 hours or 2 hours of visuals, and then still in and out of it for the next few hours. See coming back and forth.
Like what you think? Average 8 hours maybe. Like,
Yeah, if you
like,
do over
you know,
3 grams,
right?
for sure, it's like the high lasts for about 8 hours. The visuals strong would be like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So for the average person, if you just want to experience something with the penis envy strain, and get some of those visuals, I would say do the 1.5 to 2 grams.
Okay.
That's a good point to see what the whole hype is about. With
I
mushrooms.
felt that. I ate one of these earlier. The black cherry ones. I don't even know what it was. Oh, it was peanuts.
Oh, there you go.
So see, yeah. So I only ate one. The recommended thing is, I guess, one if you want.
1 or 2 gummies.
Yeah, 2 if you want to fucking you know,
On
Joe
his
Ryan,
program,
and then
sort
it
of.
says road trip.
So
for,
you
like,
ate one
the
of
whole
those?
bag. Yeah, I just ate one.
All right. So,
So
yeah, it's like a little microdose.
Yeah. So I was already high, but I could see how it fucking affects me. You get me?
Yeah, I
so
feel
I'm like,
you.
I get a little more happy. I was like, oh, I'm smiling and shit. Like,
Oh yeah, it definitely
cool.
does enhance your mood as well. That's a big plus to it.
yeah.
I mean, that's why there's a lot of research with the PTSD studies and the
Bro.
anxiety and the veterans with just trauma. Makes you feel good.
Literally, like, just makes your mood up tempo. You know? Yeah. Interesting with like the microdosing one. I was really fucking like.
Yeah. So the microdosing right here is how I have mine is at 0.2 of a gram or 200 milligrams.
Okay.
Now that might be strong for some people microdosing because again penis envy has that strong effect. So you do feel a lot of something.
Yeah.
One is not enough to give you enough of visual stimulation, but it does give you that mental stimulation.
Nice.
It does give you a sense of awareness and presence because you feel some. It's like
Alright.
that come up feeling.
It's like drinking coffee, kind of like
Right.
like you know, because coffee's a drug, you know,
Yeah.
caffeine. So
Yeah.
it's the same, like
Yeah.
just boost, kind of like you know,
Exactly.
but you won't trip out. So
Yeah, you generally take one like in the morning. If you want to do it, with the whole background of intentions, just tell yourself a little something about the day that you want to experience. Consume it in the morning.
yeah,
Get some oxygen flowing through your body, and then go about your day.
yeah,
And it's really nice. I mean, because you feel just more present everywhere you go. You feel more connected to everything. And then we got so that's the micro magic.
Yeah.
Right. And there's 20 capsules that come in the pack.
okay. I like it.
So it's, and the guidelines for the most part, as Paul Stamets would say, you take it one day, reflect the second day, rest the third day, and then you would take it again the fourth day. Now, those are just guidelines,
okay,
right?
okay.
Those are just guidelines. You can definitely take it
Suggestions.
more often, like every other day. Now, I wouldn't recommend taking it every day,
Yeah.
only because psilocybin builds a tolerance, right? So you have a tolerance that builds up really quickly with mushrooms. So, for example, if you want to trip out one day and have and you had an amazing time, you blasted off and you had a lot of
Yeah.
visuals. Say you want to take it the second day, and you take the same amount you took the day before, you're not gonna get anywhere near that blast off. So you have to wait at least 2 weeks to reset that tolerance, and then you can blast off again. So with that being said, on the microdosing, you're not really gonna expect any visuals, but I can tell you that if you do it every day, you'll start to taper off the feeling. You won't feel that sense of what mushrooms make you feel. But if you do it like every other day or every 3 days, microdosing, it gives that time to reset so you can feel it again. Plus, sometimes you get that lingering effect from the day before anyway, so you still have that feeling
like you don't want to,
from the mush. Yeah, you really don't want to take it. You're like, I'm good for the right now. That's true.
Literally,
I learned my
yeah.
lesson. You're good.
Yeah.
So that's how you would do the microdosing capsules.
Okay.
And then we have the Magic Box. That one has 1 gram infused with dark chocolate.
Okay.
Fire. They're really tasty and they mask the taste of the mushrooms really well.
Nice.
For those people who don't like to chew mushrooms. Another cool thing about the box, or some fun facts I should say, is, well, 2 things. When you pulverize mushrooms to the smallest amount to a powder, you make them more bioavailable to your stomach. So your body can soak it up faster and kind of utilize it a lot quicker.
Wow.
So it kind of acts like a boost. And also the cacao is also a slight inhibitor. I mean, it's probably pretty subtle. I don't know how much it can create that concentration. But I know it does have a small effect. So you do feel it a little bit more in a chocolate form.
See, that all my life, everybody's been like, well, every time I've done shrooms, basically with fucking chocolate. Like, you get me? I tried different chocolate bars and shit.
Right.
Basically, so it holds up. All right.
Yeah, it holds up to
Damn,
making the
nice.
chocolate. Not just because it masks
Streets.
the taste, but it does have those 2 effects. And then it also can preserve your mushrooms for a longer period of time because they're in chocolate. And then we also have here these freeze-dried mushrooms. So this is a fairly new thing that people don't really know about. But so freeze dried, first of all, is used for vegetables and fruits, or
Right.
meats even, that you can preserve your food for 25 years, so long as it stays in a sealed container or vacuum sealed bag after it's freeze dried. And not only that, but it preserves all the nutrients in those fruits and vegetables. So the same thing translates to the mushrooms. So when you freeze dry mushrooms, you not only preserve their aesthetics, but you preserve the psychoactive compounds and whatever other compounds that are lost during the regular drying process are still found present in the mushrooms. So you're essentially eating fresh mushrooms that have been dried.
Literally, that's cool.
So they have a
Fuck.
different element to the experience that you can only find in fresh mushrooms. And since there's more psilocybin and psilocin content present, that means your body doesn't have to convert so much of it, or it still converts it, but it also just hits you a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. So some people say it's like lighter on the body. You can say it's the sativa of the mushrooms.
Okay.
But
I
it's,
see
it's
that.
it's still very potent. I mean, obviously it has all those compounds on there. So you can definitely say if you take the same amount as you would regular dried mushrooms, this will hit you harder.
I
Freeze
felt
dried,
that.
they would definitely hit you harder. In my experience, I only consume freeze dried now because I
Nice.
did the same 7 grams freeze dried, thinking this is gonna be cool. And sure and behold, I was really humbled by the experience, and I understood a lot more of what mushrooms have to offer. So that one is really my go-to now, is the freeze-dried mushrooms.
I dig
They're
that.
just more delicate, so they do require more care.
Damn. See, you got me interested, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna try them.
Yeah, they definitely hit you different. They're definitely more for the connoisseur if you like already like being in that space of mushrooms
Yeah.
and tripping out and the whole visuals. Those are definitely nice. So those are the products, and obviously I have regular dried mushrooms.
Yeah, just so.
But I specialize specifically in the penis envy mushroom because of the potency and the reliability of that potency. Because that's a
Yeah.
big key too, is how reliable that potency is. And anybody who's tried penis envy mushrooms, or at least the real ones, will tell you that it hits different. It's by far a different tier than any other mushroom that you can come across. Or cubensis, I should
Cubensis.
say, cubensis mushroom, because that's very
mushroom.
important that you distinguish the two. Because cubensis, for the most part, is what we have available.
And what about the gold caps? Like, those are little, like, would you say starter off? Like, not
Yes.
right? Like,
I mean,
because you're talking about the penis and be like heavy, because I fuck with that now. You get me?
Right.
To me, it sounds like this is like the Girl Scout of the, like the weed. Like,
Well-
it's how Girl Scout be like, just to sell the name.
Nah, I
know,
feel you.
whatever,
I
like,
feel, yeah.
Say shit.
So my answer to that is simply that this is just dosing, right?
Okay.
Dosing. So you can definitely dose a lot less if you just want therapeutic. That's why we have microdosing
Right.
capsules available,
Yeah.
because that doesn't take you to
Fucking-
Wonderland
yes,
or whatever.
dude, you just fucking read the fucking. I was literally gonna say Wonderland. That's crazy.
So yeah, so that's what's good about this strain too. I mean, I should say this variety, because these are not strains. Cubensis is the strain. Penis envy, golden teachers, all that. These are varieties of the cubensis.
Okay.
So when people say strains or whatever, it's not the correct terminology, but whatever.
Okay. No.
But
no,
it makes
no.
more sense for
Nah,
people because of
educate that shit.
weed and
Yeah, see.
people know weed and strains.
Literally, that's for the streets. I would say like
Right.
that's how we fucking distinguish it. But like, I like getting the actual.
Right. Yeah.
terms
This is
and,
actually
like,
a variety of that cubensis family. So
That's cool,
but
man.
this is actually an Amazonian, or from what we know. or-
Because how you said they
Yeah,
brought it and shit.
yeah.
That's cool, man. What's the longest that you tripped off? Like, because you said you ate 7 grams of the freeze dried. How'd that go? Like,
So I mean, the freeze dry was wild because it really felt like I was an entity vibrating through this realm of Earth.
like
right?
so you just
I really could feel the whole, like, you know how I felt like there was layers of me
yeah.
that were vibrating.
Okay,
Right? So
okay.
you can almost see like the stretch. I don't know if you ever seen that movie Riddick.
Riddick. Nah.
No, all right. Well, there's just a scene, or you just imagine anything that slides through. You know how that you have that trail effect. Well, instead of that trail happening, where it would like disappear when I stopped moving, it just stayed there, and it was a constant vibration of everything. But it was slightly overwhelming in the sense that it just consumed me because it showed me the creation of life. You know,
Damn, like
it showed me how everything is connected in how, for example, if you were to zoom out of everything, you would see that it's just one thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. We're just that one thing, but we're zoomed in perspectives. And each one of us is just a different perspective of that same thing. But it's no different. When you zoom out, it's just one thing.
I thought of Google Maps and shit.
Like, yeah, you could just imagine like a Google like Maps. Yeah, but it's wild because, you know, we do, or from what I learned through that experience is you do have a strong connection with everything. We're just separated because we choose to see the separation. But that separation is an important aspect of our lives. Otherwise, if we were all the same thing presently, there would be nothing but one thing, and there would be no individual people. So it's not that it's a bad thing that we're separated, because we're separated to see these experiences, and this is what we're here for. We just have morals that we create. There is no good or bad. We just create the good or bad, you know, and then that's how you have that moral aspect, because there's a polarity line that you choose when it's good, you choose when it's bad.
Yeah, depending on your fucking...
And how you're feeling towards it, and then it's just based on how you feel. So it just showed me and it taught me, it humbled me to know that this is all for a purpose, you know, whether it's bad in your eyes or good in your eyes, it's still happening to be experienced.
Yep.
Otherwise, there would be no experiences. Because how I heard it from another gentleman, you know, it's no fun knowing everything. It's no fun being in the timeless zone. There's no fun in being I wouldn't say the enlightened person, but once you get there, then what? You know everything. Yeah, it's like, how do you have fun from there? How do you experience joy or pain from there if you know all of it to be the same? So the reason to be here is to do this, to experience these things, whether they're good or bad. I mean, hopefully you're more on the morally good side, and you do things out of love, because that's the best and the most important thing. It's just to do things out of love. I mean, it's not for the money, it's not for the greed, it's not for the ego, it's not for the pleasure. You should just do it for the love, right? And if you feel the love, you can. It will just reciprocate out, you know, and everybody's gonna feel that same thing.
That realness.
Yeah, that you're emitting from yourself, and that's the answer to everything, right? It's
just be the fucking real person that you could be.
Yeah, and then, you know, just whatever you preach, you know, practice. You know, if you're the one talking, you should definitely practice what you're doing. And that's something that I'll tell you that mushrooms have taught me over the time from my multiple big doses is, you know, in the beginning it was more of just I was preaching what I knew or wanted to do myself that I knew would benefit me or me as a person or my spiritual self or my enlightened self, whatever you want to say.
Just yourself.
Yeah, just myself. And, you know, I was kind of doing it, you know, and kind of just like, but you should also be doing this, and that. And over time, you know, after just doses of mushrooms, you know, I even at one point, or I am still now, you know, vegan. At one point, it just, I mean, I always had the feeling to stop, not because I felt that, you know, it's going to help the planet or it was good for the environment or anything like that. It was mostly just because how I was feeling and what I knew those animals were going through before I consumed them. Right? So I felt that I was gaining that feeling from whatever they felt. So, and that's what just my mushroom trip gave me. And at one time or one day during my mushroom trip, I was like, all right, that's it. Let's just stop for a while. Because I was tired of feeling that feeling.
And how long you been with that?
I've been like 2 years almost.
Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah. So it's been about 2 years.
And you feel that power.
Yeah, you definitely do feel different, because also what transitioned after that was more discipline. Right? That was the first step to discipline. It wasn't necessarily about the diet after that. It was about the discipline. And the mushrooms kept on giving me that discipline, or to at least go back to it, because there was definitely at one point when I was trying to keep receiving these teachings from the mushrooms, that it told me to stop. And the reason it told me to stop was because it essentially said, how can you handle these experiences if you're not in your best self here, like in this space? Like, you're not going to be able to have the strength or the power to retain this knowledge if I'm not able to discipline myself now or in this state. Because to go there, it requires a lot of mental power, a lot of mental strength to endure these big doses. Otherwise, it can just take you on a wild ride, and then you'll lose your train of thought, you'll lose your thought process, and you'll just let it consume you. So I had to stop taking big doses of mushrooms at one point, because it spoke to me. It's like, yo, chill. First figure out you. I mean, it wasn't verbally telling me, it wasn't like, hey, you gotta do this and that. But I felt it, whatever it was.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. If you know, you know. And it hit me, and I was like, okay. And then from then on, I changed my lifestyle once again. I started working out every single day, except the days I would go to the Sesh or whatever. And then have a rest day. But it created discipline to do that. And then that discipline also helped with every other aspect of my life, The eating good and then the working out good, that translated to every other thing going good. I had more time or more energy, more focus to do everything that I wanted to fulfill. And then I could start actually fulfilling that person that I wanted to preach to everybody else. I'm becoming what I wanted to tell everybody to become. Like, yo, this is the way of life. And I wasn't doing it. And I was like, okay, I need to be fucking doing it if I'm fucking saying this. And the mushrooms say to do the same thing. So I was like, all right. Let's take a step back. And then it just changed that whole mindset of disciplining yourself. It's just to be very mindful of what you need to do for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the lesson learned from mushrooms is the same thing, is work on yourself. Work on yourself to be your best self, because you can be yourself or your best self at any given time. You're just restricting yourself because you put that story in your head. You can change the fucking story, and the mushrooms show you how to change the story, or they give you the opportunity to see that story, and then it's up to you to do the work, to integrate the work afterward or after the mushroom experiences, because it can have that profound effect, and it does have that profound effect on a lot of people who have those intentions prior to consuming those mushrooms.
So you thought about it and shit, but like kind of that motivation.
It propels you, it's that getting yourself on the starting line, and that's the hardest part, because just with working out, with discipline, it's like, nobody fucking wants. I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to work. I don't want to do my breathing exercises every month. I don't want to do that, bro. I don't. Nobody fucking wants. Nobody's excited to fucking do that. Granted, in the middle of it, or when you're finishing, you're like, fuck yeah, that was amazing. I can't believe I didn't want to fucking do that.
Right, like you get the fucking sense
afterwards. But before, fuck no. Nobody wants to do that shit.
It's like, I feel the same way.
It's the discipline, and you have to create that discipline. After a while, it gets easier to put yourself in those positions. But it's not fun. It's not. It can be.
It's hard work, like everything else in life. Like, you got to put in that hours.
Here's the thing: you want the strength to endure a hard life. You don't want an easy life. You don't want a fucking easy life, bro. That's ridiculous. That's true. You don't want that. You want the strength to endure a hard one.
Fucking pain.
And that gives you more sense of accomplishment. It gives you a sense of being aware of everything that you're doing, man. And that's what you want to. That's the route you want to take in life.
I fuck with your message, man.
Man. Because I mean,
I get it.
That's powerful stuff, bro.
Like, yo, pause, man. That shit, pause, bro.
Bro.
You're an upbeat person, and I already knew how you're gonna be before I fucking met you, because I know your chakras are intact. Everything's I can see you, bro. Like, you get me? You reflect.
Man, I try to put in the work because it matters to me to see the difference that, this picture that they're painting us isn't all cracked up what it is to be,
I felt that.
And there is something that you can do, and it starts from inside you. And that's where the trajectory. Yeah, that's where it can go up, because you move yourself towards a better place that you want to be. Because
We
everybody
all
wants
want to get
be
the yes. I know. Like, fuck
everybody.
yeah. We all picture ourselves when we look in the mirror. We want
Uh-huh.
to see that best version.
Yeah.
I already know, man, because that's just very fucking cool. And that, I appreciate you sharing your story and being open about everything, bro. Because I know a lot of people that are watching have the same fucking thought. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You get me? They need somebody to see that they're doing this. So you practice what you preach. So that's the major shit, man.
Yeah, man. There's
Hey.
definitely a lot of education that needs to be put out there that
Word.
people don't have, or at least seeing something or somebody that's doing something, right?
See,
And-
I appreciate that because you're spitting knowledge to our viewers, to anybody that is gonna get a glimpse of this,
sure,
man.
yeah.
For sure. Hey, though, I'm gonna need your autograph real quick.
all right.
Yeah. Let's get you on the table. Anywhere you can find space, like if you want to come right here or some shit.
Show.
Yeah. Trip Theory in the building. Again, give a lot of applause, man. That shit cool, bro. And I know you've been rocking with Sesh. Sesh up all the time, man. Yeah, give us one advice for the world out here. You get me?
Yeah,
Sesh-
man. The way I see it is, I would just say you gotta be a little bit more optimistic into the other side of life, right?
Yeah.
You already know this material life. You already mastered this shit. You already know in and out. Now open yourself up to what else is out there, cause you know this shit. You know it. You know it in and out. You know, like the back of your hand. You know the back of your hand. But what else is out there? What else is out there? I would just give the people, that message to really seek knowledge outside of what you already know, starting from within. You know,
Out of that matrix.
and then discipline yourself, and then find out what it is to be here, but in your own perspective.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, nobody else matters but you, right? Yeah, you can love, you have loved ones, and you cherish those people, but you are the most important person that exists here. You, all right? You are, and that's all it is, man.
Hey, again. Applause for that, bro.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that. Y'all already know. Thank you for watching. Again, we're going to do the giveaway. So whenever we post this video, if you're the first person to comment on it, you're going to be the winner. But just make sure you turn on the notification bell. Every time we drop, make sure you comment, like. It helps us out, you get me? We're trying to get the numbers up, so appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Again, thank you again. Trip Theory in the
brother.
building. Hey, bro.
Absolutely,
We
brother.
appreciate you. Damn, man. I know you're going to be back again because you're the guru in
Hey,
this
man,
bitch.
I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
having me for sure.
Where can we find you?
Yeah.
You can find me at my Instagram is trip_theory. Just hit me up there if you guys have any questions or just want to educate yourself a little bit more about mushrooms.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to, reach out, answer those questions for sure.
Hell yeah. You already know.